What if there's a final exam for the entire universe? A quiet, invisible test for any species, like ours, that starts to reach for the stars. And what if the proctors are ancient, hyper-advanced intelligences, silently observing thousands of worlds, just waiting? They wouldn't be looking for our art or our philosophy. They'd be looking for something way more obvious, the unmistakable signature of technology. This isn't just a thought experiment. It's a very real possibility that humanity is being graded on a cosmic scorecard right now, without even knowing we're taking a test. We are broadcasting our existence into the void, and those broadcasts have already put Earth on the map. The question isn't if someone can find us anymore. It's what will they think when they do? For almost all of human history, our planet was cosmically silent. We were just another hunk of rock and water, wrapped in a quiet atmosphere. But over the last 100 years or so, that has changed in a huge way. We've started making a lot of noise. Not on purpose, really. We're not actively shouting into the universe, hoping someone shouts back. Instead, we're leaking. This leakage is what scientists call a technosignature, evidence of technology that can be spotted from a massive distance. And right now, Earth is practically glowing with them. The most powerful of these signals are our own radio waves, specifically from planetary radar systems, like the one that used to be at the Arecibo Observatory, and our most powerful military radars. These aren't sending out old TV shows. They are incredibly potent, focused beams of energy shot into the sky to track asteroids or other objects. When those beams miss their target, they just keep going outward, into deep space, like an accidental beacon of our existence. So, how far could an alien civilization actually see these signals? Some studies suggest that a civilization with tech similar to ours might be able to pick up these specific radar blips from thousands of light years away. Just think about that. A sphere of our noise, expanding at the speed of light, has already passed over countless potentially habitable worlds. This bubble of information contains our first broadcasts, the sounds of our wars, the launch of our rockets, and all the chatter from our global communications. It's an autobiography we never meant to write, spelled out in radio waves. But radio isn't the only way we're giving ourselves away. As we've industrialized our world, we've literally changed the air we breathe. The nitrogen dioxide in our atmosphere, a byproduct of burning fossil fuels, is a major atmospheric technosignature. Sure, some of it occurs naturally, but the concentration we have is a dead giveaway of industrial activity. It's a sobering thought that advanced future telescopes could one day potentially detect pollutants like these in the atmosphere of a planet like ours from light years away. Our pollution could be the very first thing an alien species learns about us. And the closer they get, the more obvious we become. A few light years out, they could see the artificial glow of our megacities at night. They might notice the unnatural heat islands our urban areas create, a thermal smudge that just doesn't belong. They could even spot the glint from thousands of satellites orbiting the Earth, a metallic swarm where there shouldn't be one. All these signals, taken together, paint a pretty clear picture. We are a young, somewhat chaotic, and rapidly developing technological species. Whether we meant to or not, we've switched on a cosmic lighthouse for the entire galactic neighborhood to see. If we are being watched, how are they sizing us up? How would a civilization millions of years ahead of us even begin to classify our frantic, messy burst of technology? Back in 1964, Soviet astronomer Nikolai Kardashev came up with a system for doing just that. It's called the Kardashev Scale, and it couldn't care less about a civilization's wisdom, culture, or kindness. It measures one thing and one thing only: how much energy it can control. The scale is brilliantly simple. To understand it, let's start with us. Right now, humanity isn't even officially on the scale. We're what you'd call a Type 0 civilization. We get most of our energy from primitive sources, basically, dead plants and animals we dig up as fossil fuels. In a cosmic sense, we are infants still tied to our planetary crib. The famed astronomer Carl Sagan once estimated we're sitting at around Type 0.72. A Type 1 civilization would be a true master of its home. This civilization could harness and control all the energy available on its planet. Imagine controlling the weather, stopping earthquakes before they happen, and capturing every bit of solar energy that hits the Earth. They'd be long past fossil fuels, maybe tapping directly into the geothermal energy of the planet's core. Their technosignatures would be planetary in scale, maybe a global power grid that subtly changes the planet's heat signature, or an atmosphere so perfectly regulated it looks artificial. Futurist Michio Kaku thinks it might take humanity another 100 to 200 years to get there. A Type 2 civilization would think planetary energy is small time. They would have graduated to controlling the entire energy output of their home star. The most famous idea for this is the Dyson sphere, a megastructure that would completely surround a star to capture all of its power. A civilization like this would wield energy on a scale we can barely imagine, able to do things like move planets or reignite dying stars. Their technosignature would be impossible to miss, a star that seems to disappear from sight, but glows brightly in the infrared spectrum from all its waste heat. Searching for these is a real part of modern SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. And then, there's Type 3. A Type 3 civilization would command energy on a galactic scale. They would harness the power of all 100 to 400 billion stars in their galaxy, maybe drawing energy from the supermassive black hole at the center. To us, their abilities would look like magic, maybe even breaking the laws of physics as we know them. Kardashev himself figured a Type 3 civilization would be so advanced that we could detect their signals from across the vast distances between galaxies. These are the kinds of beings that could truly be the silent surveyors of the cosmos. This all leads to a deep and frankly unsettling question called the Fermi paradox. If the universe should be full of life, and some of it has had billions of years to evolve, where is everybody? The galaxy ought to be buzzing with the chatter and megastructures of Type 2 and 3 civilizations. But when we point our telescopes out there, all we hear is silence. The great silence. But what if the silence isn't an absence of life, but a feature of it? What if the universe isn't supposed to be a loud party, but more like a quiet library? Or, as the zoo hypothesis suggests, what if we're an exhibit, intentionally left alone to develop on our own? Maybe advanced civilizations are deliberately keeping quiet, watching emerging species from a safe distance, waiting for them to pass some kind of threshold before they say hello. This is where the idea of a test starts to feel incredibly real. Our technosignatures, the very signals that prove we're here, are a double-edged sword. They broadcast our intelligence, sure, but they also broadcast our behavior. That bubble of radio waves is filled with our conflicts. Our polluted atmosphere signals our industrial power, but it also signals our recklessness. So, could the test be that simple? Does a civilization manage to survive its own technological adolescence? When a species figures out how to split the atom, does it use that power for clean energy, or for war? When it builds a global economy, does it manage its home planet sustainably, or does it poison its own nest for the sake of short-term growth? The Kardashev scale is a measure of power, but it implies that a certain level of wisdom is needed to handle that power. You can't become a Type 1 civilization, managing an entire planet, if you're still fighting over borders and beliefs. You can't build a Dyson sphere around your star if your society is constantly on the verge of destroying itself. Each step up that ladder isn't just a tech challenge, it might be a filter for survival. Maybe the great silence is just the sound of countless civilizations failing the test. This puts us in a very strange position. Based on Sagan's estimate, we're a Type 0.72 civilization, making just enough noise to be noticed. But we haven't yet proven we have the wisdom to move forward. We're being graded, not just on power, but on discipline. Every day, our technosignatures paint a clearer picture of who we are. A species with incredible potential, but also full of conflict and short-sightedness. The observers, if they exist, might just be waiting to see which side wins. If these are the kinds of questions that fascinate you and make you think about humanity's place in the universe, make sure you subscribe and ring that notification bell. We explore cosmic mysteries like this every week. We are alive in a truly unique moment. For thousands of years, Earth was a silent blue marble. Now, it's a beacon. We're shouting our existence to the stars, through everything from radio waves that have already crossed thousands of light years to the very chemical makeup of our air. We don't know if anyone's listening. But if they are, they might be grading us. Watching our journey from planet-bound infants to potential galactic beings. Maybe the great silence doesn't mean we're alone. Maybe it means we're being watched. And the test is happening now. And the final grade? It isn't in yet. So the next time you look up at the night sky, really look. Past the city lights. Into that deep, black void. Ask yourself, are we just staring into an empty cosmos? Or are we standing on a stage? Taking the most important test we'll ever take? What do you think it takes to pass? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for joining us.